What's going on, guys? I'll be breaking down UFC Vegas 88 today. Quick little recap from UFC 299 last week. First bet of the night was Rubeles de Spain round one. Got that at minus 159. Got in unit on Michel Pereira at minus 140 and minus 150. Didn't think he would run through him like that, but good performance there from Michel Pereira. I think 185 is definitely the right weight class for him. So started off 2-0, threw a couple dog shots. We bet on Chuk, like small play there. Didn't hate the bet. And we ended up throwing on, it was like 0.3 units on RDA money line. You know, round one, he clipped him, and yeah, at the end of the day, like I knew Gamrat was gonna get like some top time, but I didn't hate the bet on RDA at plus like 380 there. I think I got it in at. Next up, guys, we did have John Almeida. That one was a tough beat. Lost like a unit there on the money line, got it at plus 100. I don't hate the bet. I kind of had a feeling he would get blades down at a pretty high clip. The worry was like the sprawl and actually like what unfolded there. So yeah, we missed on Blades and Almeida there. Next fight up was Jan. If you guys couldn't tell by the 10-minute breakdown last week, that's when it was like my best read of the card. I ended up with 2 units on Jan moneyline, like minus 110 and minus 118. And then we also got in a parlay on Jan decision and JDM knockout for, what's that, to win like 1,300-ish. So yeah, cashed a good bit on Jan. Good scrap altogether. Round one clear like Song Yadong. The line was like plus 200 Jan, but yeah, good bet there. Next up was JDM money line and JDM KO. So we cashed there, ended up being round 3. And then yeah, we had BSD minus 147. I will say this, like once fight day came, like Saturday, I did tell anyone that was like hopping on that, like do not bet Benoit Saint Denis money line at minus 230. I did get a little hedge in on BSD. He was closing out a few of my early parlays. So yeah, I got Dustin money line in, and then I did get Dustin round 2, 3, and 4. So hedged off a little my position there. You know, maybe not the best read, but definitely not minus like 230, whatever it closed at. And then finally, yeah, Cheeto 345. Great performance from Sean O'Malley there. So, yeah, guys, okay event. Kind of just been firing too many spots, but a little more selective this week. Mostly props on this card. I don't really love many like money lines at all, but I'll just quick run through until I get to some bets. So, yeah, let's get into it. First fight, Mitch Ramirez, Thiago Moises. I'm leaning Moises ITD here. It's at minus 140. I still got to tape Mitch Ramirez, but you know, Pratis was I watched a Contender Series fight. I had Pratis KO there, like minus 130 over Mitch. And Ramirez got some top time around one. There was one like butterfly sweep. I still got to tape more of them. But both these guys are like pretty much finishers. Even like Ends ITD was at minus 200. But yeah, I'm leaning the Moises ITD minus 140. Still haven't gone there yet, but I kind of like that. Danny Silva, Josh Culibao. I kind of want to get to Danny Silva here. It's because like Culibao, we've only seen him really as like an underdog in the UFC besides like one fight. So I'm not like bullish on Culibao minus 185. End of the day though, Danny Silva puts out like a crazy like pace, and he can outwork Culibao, but he's hittable. And I think, I don't know, I could see, you know, if he's just, I could see Culibao clipping him, maybe a sub, club and sub. I think minute winning, I lean Danny Silva, but finishing upside, I think Culibao can get it done. And just a lot more UFC experience for Culibao too. Obviously Silva's debut here. Don't really love money lines there. Next fight up is Osbourne and Filho. So I bet Filho submission at the opener at plus 200. Pretty basic read here. I bet Osbourne a couple fights. I bet him against Vergara. I bet him against what was his one name? Sadiq Asharaf or something like that. But yeah, I bet on Ode a couple fights, man. And even that Tyson Nam fight, I bet he got knocked out round 1 in the first like 2 minutes of that fight. So haven't had the best experience betting Ode Osbourne. He is a pretty good athlete, and I like his tools. The knockout early here is probably live for Ode round 1, but if it extends, I just have to lean Filho. Ode has a way of finding himself in these submissions, and I'm not really loving a money line side. Like Filho has holes in his game where you can't really love him anywhere upwards of 60% implied in a fight. But I like this submission at like plus 200, maybe even 2-3 props haven't gone there. On next fight up, guys, we got Chelsea, Chandler, and Nunes here. I haven't bet this, but I'm very likely to end up with like a half unit or a unit on Chelsea Chandler. Nunes, she's faced some pretty low-level girls in her fights. She's gone to 2 decisions now, and her volume's not bad, and she has big power. I just think Chandler moving down is probably in the right weight class. And if we look at her last fight at 145, Norma Dumont was the same price against her. And I bet Norma there, but I think Norma is minus 250 or like higher versus Nunes here. There's going to be that massive size discrepancy that we see in pretty much like every Nunes fight where girls are going to have 6 inches, 7 inches of possible height and sometimes reach on her. But yeah, I'm gonna think about it more. I think this line could come closer come face-offs. Obviously, when like we see that Chandler is going to be pretty much a lot bigger than her. I think there's a decent bit of grappling upside for her. So minus 125 Chandler, I believe is the side here. All right, guys, next fight up. This is my main event, personally. Mike Davis versus Natan Levy. I got a few bets here on Mike Davis. So I bet on Sunday and Monday morning. I bet it like twice. Started with 1 unit, ended up with 3 units on it in total. Mike Davis money line minus 280, parlayed up with Kennedy money line at like minus 500. So yeah, about 3 units to win, 2 units. Pretty, I mean, the line's at minus 500 right now. A lot of steam came in on Mike Davis, which I did expect it to like blow up, but not this wide. I mean, because people know, he's probably has him covered everywhere. We haven't seen Mike Davis in a year and a half, and he's dealt with a lot of injuries in his career, coming off a shoulder one this time. So that is a bit concerning here if you're laying minus 500. But overall, I think Davis is going to be the better boxer. Got really, really clean striking, good body work. He's going to be the much more physical, bigger fighter in there. He is going to have the better wrestling, better grappling. I mean, cardio, I still have to lean even Davis there. I get that Davis sometimes, he puts on a big pace in some of these fights, but he pushes through. And I think even at Natan Levy, he's been relying on some wrestling in these recent fights. Obviously, we saw Rafa Garcia win that decision a few years back where he was able to implement his own wrestling against Levy. But I think Davis overall is going to piece him up early on the feet. And then if Natan Levy like shoots, like panic shoots takedowns, I think Davis is going to get some reversals, get on top, land some big shots. I think he can land his own takedowns here. So yeah, I think he has it covered everywhere. I did bet a prop here too. I got in on Davis submission at the opener plus 2,500, which is ridiculous for a guy that has shown that he, can wrestle in his fights. He'll go for his submissions. He's gotten a submission before. Yeah, I like that line a lot. It came down to, it's like plus 600 right now. So yeah, I bet Davis submission plus 2,500, 0.1 unit, $50 there. And then 10 minutes goes by and I'm thinking about it. I'm like, that's a ridiculous line. So I got some round 2, round 3 at like plus 4,500 and plus 5,500. They were maxing me at $50 and $45 there. So yeah, Mike Davis submission for a couple thousand. risking 0.3 units there on those props. I don't know if I love minus 500 here, but I think he has him covered. Should be a pretty safe bet here outside of injury. So yeah, if you're playing this fight now, I do think so. Davis ITD is plus 145. The fight ends inside the distance is plus 145. I like if it doesn't go here. I think Davis is likely to finish him. Could be knockout, could be sub. But he's going to put it on him for sure. And if it's the same price, guys, like they're giving Natan Levy like no up, they're giving him like a 3-5% chance to like finish here. And you should just bet, plus 145 doesn't go, covers any possible Davis shoulder injury, it dislocates or anything weird or just gets injured in there. So yeah, that'd be my read there at the current price tag. Next up, guys, we got GM3 versus Brian Barberena. Tough fight, man. Tough fight. In terms of money line side, you cannot play GM3 minus 240. It's another one. I've been betting a lot. If you haven't realized, I bet a lot of submission props at openers here. I got in GM3 sub for a half unit plus 150 and a little bit of like plus 140. I split it between the two. I think it's sitting plus 100 now. But yeah, overall, I just didn't get if GM3 is minus 240 money line, okay? So we're talking like this guy's pushing like 70%. And if he's that money line, okay, how is his submission prop like close to like 40-45%? Doesn't make any sense when typically GM3 is an underdog. His line will be like plus 175 money line, and his submission will be like plus 185, like plus 200. So I didn't really get that line there. I get that he has some, at distance, he can land some kicks. He's got some boxing, but GM3 is never a guy you want it back at chalk. I faded him against, the last time I can think of GM3 at chalk was Dustin Stoltzfus. I played Stoltz at like plus 170 there. The read was pretty simple. If any fighter that's like top 50 at middleweight who has relatively good striking, can defend some wrestling, and has okay fight IQ should be a slight favorite over GM3 or big favorite. Just because like his game is very based on somewhat staying alive on the feet, a little bit of like competing. I know that Bruno Silva look was weird, that he outstruck him like that. But it's usually opportunistic submissions, so you can't really get to him at these like chalk prices. It makes no sense. So yeah, the more I think about the fight, I'm thinking Barberena money line is value. Like it has to be. But at this point in his career, I mean, he's going to have better volume. He's going to be quicker. He's moving up, 170 guy moving up to 185. I just don't get why he's at middleweight. And that's like my one thing I'm kind of like, I bet GM3 sub early because I thought that was his win equity. But the more I think about this fight, there's value in Barberena, but I wouldn't get there because it's a stay away fight on money lines, man. I don't like it. Next up, Macy Chiasson and Pannie Kinsey. Pass. Pass. Next up, we got C-Rod and Isaac Dulgarian. So I really wanted to like Christian Rodriguez here. I bet him at plus 210 against Raul Rosas. I bet C-Rod even submission round 3 there. Almost cashed that, like massive. And then I bet him against Cameron Simon. So I'm like 2-0 on C-Rod. And I want to back him here because obviously Dulgarian, we've only seen him in a couple fights, 7 fights. And there have all been under 4 minutes. He's running through guys in round 1. He'll like play on the feet for like a minute and then just shoot in. His really, really, really good wrestling. Seen him get some takedowns where the entries don't look great and he still gets it down easy. And then on top, it's nasty, man. He's got some really, really like good elbows, good ground and pound, decent submission game on top. And even though we haven't seen him out of round 1, I kind of have I believe this guy can probably extend if he's getting a takedown, if he's not shooting like 10 takedowns around, if he's just getting a takedown or two around and landing on top, I think he can, has the cardio to keep this up, this pace extended. So I hate to say, I lean Dulgarian here just because he's going to get C-Rod down. Like, C-Rod is up in weight class here. He's calm in there. I love his demeanor. But the wrestling early is going to be all Dulgarian. And like I said, I can't get to minus 190 Dulgarian, but I think if you like Dulgarian at the current price tag, it's probably ITD. And I know C-Rod's tough. We haven't seen him finished. JSP couldn't do it. Rosas couldn't do it round one. Cortez Contender Series couldn't do it. But now I think Dulgarian is the truth. And if you like his side, it's probably, it's been all round one finishes. Plus 160. I think that's probably what I would lean at this point. Don't hate anyone for taking a stab on C-Rod money line there. Plus 165, plus 170. All right, next up, guys, we got OSP versus Kennedy and Nzechukwu. Like I said, I bet Kennedy at minus 500. He is currently minus 700. I don't know why OSP's in there. It's probably for a paycheck. At this point, I don't know how you could back him. Maybe the submission, maybe he gets one last, but Kennedy has obviously had some sketchy, flaky moments in his career, but I think he has him covered here. Round one knockout for Kennedy would be my lean. Next up is Brian Battle and Ange Loosa. I was thinking about Brian Battle at minus 150, and at 185, it's tough. It's tough to get there. On one side, we've seen Battle. I bet on him in like so many fights. I'm actually curious. Let's go through, because I have bet a lot of a Brian Battle money line. See, I bet Brian Battle over Tresean Gore. I bet Brian Battle over Sato. Didn't think it'd be that quick. Bet him over Renat, which obviously in hindsight looked like a terrible bet, but I faded Renat again, with Selecki Dos Santos, and that was a good bet. I thought Renat was kind of fraudulent for the price tag, so he got up to. Bet over Gabe Green, and then I bet him over Fletcher. So I'm 4-1 on Brian Battle. Have made some good money on him. I want to back him, but he's gonna have the much better kicks. I think Ange Loosa, though, if he doesn't gas, if he can keep the pace up, he can wrestle. Battle doesn't have good hips. You can take him down. Maybe Battle can get the submission. I'm leaning to put it this way. I'm thinking it's Battle ITD or Loosa decision. Loosa's tough, man. He's at Kill Cliff. He's training with the right guys. That Fletcher fight, I bet Ange Loosa there. Obviously, Fletcher had his moments in round 2, but you got to love the way that Loosa came back in round 3 and responded. So, overall, guys, like I said, I like Battle ITD. If you're thinking that way, maybe the submission, maybe the KO, it's tough. But overall, I'm passing on a money line here, like most of these fights on this card. Then finally, guys, it's Tai Tuivasa and Marcin Tybura. Another pass here on the money line. I've been betting too many heavyweights these last few weeks. I lost on John Almeida last week, and then the week before that was Shamil Gaziev. And I'm getting really good CLV on these guys, but historically, personally for me, I feel like flyweight and heavyweight have some added volatility in there, even middleweight too. But overall, I'm just not running, I think, the sides to Tuivasa, but it's hard to back Tuivasa in any fight. I faded him against Volkov, faded him against Pavlovich, faded him against Gane, faded him against Lewis. Did I fade him against Sakai? I faded him against... I played Greg Hardy over Tai Tuivasa. So he's not a guy I've really been wanting to back. And it's paid off in these last 3 fights. Doesn't really win minutes, relies on landing big shots. He's typically out of shape, and he doesn't seem too serious sometimes about like being, also too, I will say this, his last 3 fights, he's fighting the most high-level guys at like heavyweight: Volkov, Sergey Pavlovich, and Cyril Gane. You can't hold those losses against him, and he stayed alive a couple rounds on the feet with Cyril Gane there. But overall, guys, I'm not looking. I did bet Tybura over Romanov. Didn't touch it. Black Boy fight. And then, yeah, he's coming off a knockout loss to Aspinall, which it's heavyweight, so these guys, can be older, but that's concerning at 38. You're coming off a knockout loss. Now, it's been, what's that, like 7 months ago, 8 months ago, so don't hate taking some time off there. Overall, guys, I think this side is probably tied to Tuivasa round 1, maybe early round 2 knockout, but this fight extends it all. I think Tybura 3-4 would be pretty live here. He has upside to like Tuivasa, like he's got good striking. I just worry, it's just the look of Volkov running through him on the mat was concerning. So don't really love this main event here. And like I said, not many moneyline bets, mostly props. So I'm going to look forward to next week. I bet Peyton Talbot moneyline for 2 units. And we just got tickets for UFC Atlantic City. So we're starting tape on that card. But yeah, guys, that will be it. Let's make some money this weekend.